Welcome back to TLT Talks. I'm Eugene Lidvack of the Lidvack team with Compass, coming back to you live here on Instagram from Casa de Lidvack. I have with me today a very, very special guest, someone I'm super excited to chat with. She's going to be joining us any minute now. Deb, if you could go ahead and push that little button to request to join us. There you are. Hey, Deb. Sarah, how you doing, babe? Nick, Martha, Howard Feynman, how are you, sir? Here we go. Hi, Debbie. How's it going? How are you? How's everything?
Amazing. I'm amazing. Yeah, everything's great.
What else can
How
it be?
could it not be? I'm sitting here in the beautiful sunshine looking at the ocean. Everything's great.
Oh my God, I'm super jealous. I'm sitting in my apartment. I want
And
to
by
be
the way,
out.
you asked me if I had done an Instagram live, and I just realized I have not. This is my first one.
Amazing. I'm
I
honored.
was thinking I thought we were gonna. Yeah, this is my first one.
I'm honored. I'm honored. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let me take a minute to introduce you to the wonderful Deb Gaylord. She is truly an inspiring human being. Forget about the fact that she's a quality person. We had the pleasure of meeting through Tony Robbins and the Platinum Lions and all that. But her resume is absolutely bananas. I mean, she's currently one of the top insurance salespeople in the entire country. If I said that wrong, you could feel free to correct me. But she's done it all. She's been a professional cheerleader. She's been a model. She's been an actress. She's been a TV host. She's been a VJ. She's been vice president of biz dev for a printing company. She's been a Playboy Playmate. I mean, there's literally nothing this woman hasn't done. So there you go. There you go. Big muscle. Let's get the elephant out of the room. I know everyone's going to ask me about the Playboy bit. What was it like? You were a Playboy Playmate, front cover, the whole bit. What was that like? That's a new cool experience.
So boring. You're so boring. You know what? I did it back in 1989. I was asked to test to be a centerfold, and it was kind of shocking for me because it wasn't anything that I had ever thought or, saw myself doing, and it wasn't something that I was pursuing. So I was like, me? Really? And so, back then, Playboy was the #1 magazine in the world. So it was a much different experience than what it is today, because today everybody's nude in every magazine, but it was a big deal back then. And so I asked people in my life what they thought about it, and they all said, it's so sexy, you have to do it. And so I did, and it was truly an adventure. Hef is, God bless his soul. I mean, he was an amazing human being, what he created. And through that opportunity, I met so many people. My networking just became, I would get asked to some of the most amazing events, and I was acting at the time. So all of a sudden now I was being brought in for so many different roles, because, and not only was I centerfold, but the next month I was on the cover. So it was just all happening really fast. But right. Yes, amazing experience. And obviously it's this much of what I've done in my life.
Exactly.
But
exactly.
that seems to be the one thing that everybody wants to talk about. So, okay.
We're actually catching up for our audience. Deb and I are actually catching up right before the live, but I'm like, it'd be funny to do some A/B testing. If you walked into a room, completely different audience, all different races, all different, genders, and you met half the room as like, hi, I'm one of the country's, biggest life insurance specialists, and like, hi, I'm a former Playboy Playmate. I wonder which would have the bigger. But very cool. Very cool.
Probably all the women would want to come talk to me about insurance, and all the men would want to come talk to me about Playboy. So there you have it. And it's funny. They all say, they want to talk to me about Playboy, but they'll say, what was Hef like?
Yeah, right.
Right.
Well, what a cool experience. You got to travel the world. You got to do so much cool things with that.
Yeah.
And like everything else, that was a vehicle for lots of other growth in your life. And yeah, Playboy was such a fraction. You and I got to catch up. I kind of almost at a mini interview of you offline. And you just, I don't say this a lot. You're just such an impressive human. Your resume is stacked. You've done so much, so many different careers. You crushed everything you've done, which knowing you personally
Thank
doesn't
you. No,
surprise
I
me one
haven't
bit.
crushed everything. I haven't crushed everything. I've had plenty of ups and downs and mistakes
Yeah,
along the way. But you know, when you look back, when you sit in success sometimes and you look back and you realize, okay, those were the growth periods. Even
right,
though they were really tough and
right,
were hard lessons, those were the growth periods.
right.
So yeah, no, I've crushed a few things, but not
Ha ha
everything.
ha.
Some things were major failures. You know, we've all
You're
had
good.
those.
Failures are the learns, right? So look, with that, I love. I mean, I got a chance to hear your story, and I thought it was beautiful. By the way, guys, I see a bunch of people are joining on. Some plats, some lines, some of my clients, some brokers. Welcome, everyone. I'm with Deb Gaylord.
Yes,
She's
well,
one of the biggest life insurance specialists in the entire country. Very successful. And today, what we're going to be
thank
talking
you.
about is change, because she's changed careers and she's changed within industry several times. And I think now, with where we're heading, it'd be naive to think that just because we're in phase 2, or even when we're at phase 4, that it's just going to be business as usual. I mean, it'd be naive to think things aren't going to change. If you're in
Oh yeah,
retail,
definitely.
if you're in retail, and if you're in office, if you weren't work from home and now I mean, there's changes coming, and I think we could really tap into your expertise with change. So I'd love if you could just share for everybody that's on. If you guys have questions, comments, please comment in the chat. I'll stop us to address questions. This is meant to be interactive. Dr. G, how are you? We're both on the 22-day challenge. Well, that was like on day 32 now. I'm on day like 14.
I'm on like day 30 something. I don't know. I was telling Eugene that, you know, that we're doing this keto thing. And I'm like, now that if I have a carb or a piece of sugar, oh, doesn't work. I've hit the promised land,
Yeah,
as
yeah,
Dr. G
very
calls
cool. Very cool. So
it. Yeah.
I'd love if you could share a little bit about, your story, where you started, all the career, just give us a little bit about your story, and particularly how you had to jump ship
Uh,
several times.
yep. Yeah. You were talking about change and, from a lot of people, I would say most people, if you talk about change with them, it's a fear-based,
Hmm.
any type of change can be fear-based. But I think now, just from the lessons I've learned, change, if you embrace it, can be amazing. So if you can get past the fear of like, oh God, it's a change. Like right now, COVID is freaking out a lot of people. But if you can embrace it and look at the positive, that can shift a lot of things. And people are stuck, right in their house in this quarantine and all of that. And that brought up so much stuff. So that brought up reminders for me. Like you said, I've had to change careers many times. And I was in the entertainment business for many years. And then I got married and I had kids. And then I was a full-time mom. And my divorce is what forced me to have to do what was necessary to raise my kids and have money. And I didn't leave my divorce with this huge settlement. And, looking back, I'm glad, because it made me go out and figure out that, oh, I'm not just an actress. I have a business mind. I'm actually smart. I'm actually able to do something like go get my real estate license. So that's what I did. I started out with that, had a lot of failures and ups and downs, and it was frightening. So we talk about change being frightening. I was so scared. I'd never worked in an office. I didn't even know how to use a computer, and I went and worked for the #1 real estate agent in Park City, Rich Fine. Loved working with him. And when we met like this, we had breakfast, and he said, well, what can you do? And I said, well, I know a lot of people. I'm good with people. I said, but I don't know how to work in an office. I don't know how to work a computer. He goes, I can teach you all that. You're going to handle my clients.
I love
And
it.
it was the first time that I was like, wow, I actually have something to bring to the table. And we were a great team. To this day, we still text each other. And he's like, I miss you. You were so organized. You kept my life together. And, I took care of all of his clients. He had 32 listings when I started working with him. And I managed all of them because he didn't want to deal with the people and their
Hmm.
problems. And I'd show up and handle that. So I found out along the way what my it was, what my
Hmm.
add value to something was. And 2008, real estate took a dive. I'm working in the second home luxury market, as you know. That was the first thing to go. So from there, I was out of work, and I ended up doing something that to this day, I look back and I go, that will keep me from ever getting in this position again. I ended up working on a yacht for 12 days, scrubbing toilets, making beds, ironing sheets. I didn't sleep for 2 weeks. It was just the hardest work I had ever done. And I thought, how did I end up here? And I was like on a mission to get out of that situation. I had to move back in with my mom. My kids had to live with their dad. It was just such a horrible time. And I got this job offer in New York to work for this print company. And I remember I was sitting and I was meeting with the CEO, Tom D'Agostino, and he said, listen, I said, well, what is it? He goes, if you can sell real estate, you can sell print. And I said, okay, well, tell me who it is you want to meet. He kind of gave me a list of who he was looking to get in with. And I said, if I get you in with all those people, will you hire me full time? He's like, sweetheart, if you can get me in with all those people, I will put you on, you know, what do they call it, a draw? He goes, I'll put you on a draw against commissions, like you're hired. And so I did it in 1 week. I literally went home, emailed all the people he wanted to get into. And I said, we have meetings with all these people. And one of them was Ron Perlman, the Revlon.
Oh, very cool.
And he's like, I don't know. He goes, I don't know who you are or how you did this, but you're hired. And I went from working as sales to being the vice president of procurement of business development and procurement for him, because I was just opening doors left and right. And so then I started to realize, wow, okay, you know, I have so much to offer. And so that was a great learning experience. I'll tell you, the biggest learning experience now looking back, because I'm in a different business now, is, you know how Tony Robbins says, you want to add value. Mm-hmm. You go to give. Well, for the majority of my business career, I was going to get. I got to get a commission. I got to make money. I got to get. And when I got into the life insurance world, that switched. It was like, okay, something has to switch. And just intuitionally, I knew that something had to change. And so I have a different approach now. It's not I'm going to get, I'm going to add value. How can I add value? How can I make a relationship out of this? And so everything has shifted from that. And I think that's why it put me in the top 2%, because that's my goal, is how can I help you? If you're going to do insurance with me, Eugene, I'm going to find out everything about you. I'm going to see who I can connect you with in your real estate world. You know what I mean? I'm going to add value to you as well.
Right.
So that it's a two-way street, because that's what business is about, really. At the end of the day, it's about, you know, the networking aspect and helping each other, and that's the growth.
Right.
So the change, going back to change, I've had to change careers. I've gone like this. I've made money. I've lost money. I've had great success. I've had no success. I've been up and down. And the thing I would say to anybody right now in the COVID situation is, change can be scary, but embrace it. Really embrace it, because you are going to look back and go, wow, that happened for a reason. And, you know, also a lot of people, whether it was business or personal, when this all started, this forced everybody to look at things. So if they were thinking, I want to change careers, if they were thinking, I want to get a divorce, when this all happened, boy, did this shed a lot of perspective.
That's right. Forced introspection, right? Forced introspection.
Right. On many different levels. Yeah.
Very cool. Guys, we're with Deb Gaylord. There's a little bit of like a lag, but I'm worried if I have you get up and move around, it's going to something's going to happen. So we're just going to keep going.
I
think there's a little bit of a lag. Yeah, it's like, it looks like one of those old foreign films.
Let me give you a tour. Let me give you a tour. Let me go in here. Maybe I'll have better Wi-Fi. There we go. Is this better?
I don't know. Say something.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah, there's like a small delay, but it's better now. It's fine. We'll keep going. The audio is great. It just doesn't match. Like, it looks like you're saying it and then the body's catching up, or the other way around. But it's okay. Let's keep going. The audio's there. Guys, for whoever's watching, the audio is fine. You can hear, and this woman is brilliant. So I want to try to extract as many insights for you all as humanly possible in the amount of time we have together. So again, like I said, if you got, I mean, again, this is a woman that's super wise, has been in so many different industries. And if you've got questions, fire away. I want to start by saying, so you were in 3 to 4 radically different, backgrounds, careers, etc. And you know what? Say something right now.
Yeah.
Okay, we're better. We're a
No,
little
I
bit
was
better.
just saying,
We're a little better.
yeah, definitely radically different.
So my question is, some of these changes, some of these shifts were, not by design, they were by reaction, and some might have been by design. But for somebody that's out there, for somebody that's thinking about a career change or a shift in the function of their job, or for any entrepreneur that maybe didn't believe in work from home, that's now like, well, you know what, maybe, work from home is better, whatever it is, it can feel overwhelming and big and scary. So if I'm one of these people, to all those folks that are contemplating change, where and how do you start? What's this like, where do you start? How do you start?
Get out your pen and paper. I write everything down,
Mm-hmm.
everything. And people laugh because I'm old school and it's right here. I use a pencil. I'm so old school. And if you look at my desk at home, I have a container that's filled with pencils. And when I'm on a Zoom call, when I'm on a call for business, people know, like, I have my paper and my pencil and I'm constantly writing things down because I always want to go back and reread everything because that's where the ideas come from.
Mm-hmm.
So it also, you're actively listening when you're writing things down. So if you're wanting to make a big change right now, get out a piece of paper and a pen or a pencil, however you want to do it. Start writing things down. Write where you are. Where do you want to go? Where do you see yourself in 10 years? Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Mm-hmm.
Super important questions, and also can take out some of that fear, because if you're just thinking in your head, that's where the fear is created, right? Our
That's
thoughts are
right.
creating the fear. But if you're writing it down and you're getting really real with yourself about where you really want to be, that's a whole different situation. And by the way, I do this with everything. Like, I write my money goals, I write my career goals, I write my
Mm-hmm.
spiritual goals, I write everything down. And it's not brain surgery. It's really simple, but we complicate it.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you're thinking about changing careers, take the time to go inward. Like, take the time to think about why you want to change careers and what you're passionate about and where do you, and sometimes people change careers, but they're not really thinking like, well, what's going to be the outcome and why am I actually really doing this?
Right. Exactly.
And then right. And so the other thing too is also get out of the how. Like, just put the how aside, because that'll come, and just focus on why you want to change
Mm-hmm.
careers or why you want to change something personally in your life. Just stick with the why, and the how will come. It always
Yeah.
does,
Yeah.
in my experience. And I'm going to be 57 this year, and I'm very proud to say that, because I'm starting something very exciting that has to do with age. But in my 57 years, every time I'm focused on how am I going to do it? How am I going to do it? How's this going to happen? It usually falls to the wayside. But if I just think of the why,
Yeah.
your kids,
Yeah.
your family,
Yeah.
and you know
Yeah.
that, like, yeah, just
Yeah, it's
stick
so
with the
true.
why.
It's so true. Like, I mean, if we talked to Keith Cunningham, a mutual mentor of ours, his first
Yep.
question, as people get into the story with him, his first question is, hold up, what are we optimizing for? What do we want? People forget to identify. We get so addicted to the how, we forget the what even sometimes. And for those people
Yeah.
that have, like, everything in my world, which is directly from Tony and Keith, is identify the outcome and then reverse engineer it. But even me, like, I think I've got a very strong muscle for this. But even me, like, when sometimes I get into the how, and it's like, well, how am I going to do this? I already have so much. I don't have time. Yeah, and when you get stuck in the how, the dream is dead. And so I agree with you. Where I'm able to navigate out of the how is I tend to be, SAS systems, Asana, we build a C, or whatever. I tend to be, but it's the same concept. And it's like, just get it out of my head. Just literally, I had like an 18-month period where there was a lot of how poison. It was a very difficult period of my life, and I was having a hard time sleeping. And someone suggested journaling.
Yeah.
And as I got it out of my head and into a journal, like it changed everything. It just changed everything.
Same thing. Same thing. Exactly right. And because, yeah, the how is going to be stuck in your head. And definitely, when people ask me all the time on interviews, what is your main go-to? What is your thing that you do? I write everything down.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
I write everything down. I have paper, and then I have to go back through and
Yeah.
look
Yeah.
and some things are worth reviewing, and some things I go, okay, I can put that aside.
Yeah.
And it also organizes you in a way where your thoughts become more organized and your ideas become more organized,
Right.
and then you're not focusing so much on one thing. You're going,
Right.
oh, okay, I wrote this for a reason. So
Right.
it just helps you to simplify it, I guess, is the way I'm trying to put
Yeah.
it. Is it
Well, and that's the thing.
really
And you said it. You
simplify
said it. Yeah. You said it best. Like, we make it complex. Writing it down makes it simple. You can see it. It's out of your head. You could just Nick Champagne
Nick
says
says,
F the hell.
Nick, F the
On the
how.
money,
Exactly.
Nick. On the money. So it's a recap
On the money.
for anyone out there that's thinking about change. I took, so I don't know if you've ever done RPMs with Tony, Rapid Planning Method, but I kind of took that, and you have it? Yeah, it's amazing. It's fire. So I built my own.
It is amazing. It is amazing. I have to go out here now. So sorry,
Yeah, no, you're
everybody.
good.
I'm
No,
getting
no, you're great.
interrupted.
You're great.
I'm
You're
getting
good.
interrupted.
So
Yeah,
I
sorry
uh, I
about
built
this.
I built the whole planning method from Tony's RPMs, and I just built upon it. And we ask 3 questions in there. So anytime that somebody wants, I coach a bunch of people, my team and others. Anytime somebody wants an
Right.
outcome, I start with, what are you optimizing for? What do you want? And then I make them answer. Before we get into the how, I make them answer 3 questions. Why is this a must? Because people don't do the things they should do, right? We know that. People only do the things they have to do, things they get to do, things they must do. Then I ask them, what will it
Right.
feel like? What will it feel like once you're there? Because if they can't tap into the energy, the emotional, factors that are, because
Yeah.
why do we do anything? We do everything for an emotion. And so, like, close your eyes, you're there. You've made the $1 million, you've lost the 30 pounds, you've had the kids, you've got a great, what does that feel like? Like, get into that space for a minute, right? And
Feels
then
amazing.
finally, like, what will you never do again? Because chances are, whatever we're trying to do, we probably tried or some version of it before, and we tend to get stuck in patterns. And if you can identify the patterns, then you can change the patterns. So it sounds like you and I are cut from a lot of the same,
Yeah.
cloth.
Well, and the other thing too, I would add to helping people make change or whatever, research.
Yeah,
Research. Like you and I, we come from that school of like we're constantly researching and thinking about who can we get help from, and maybe you don't know the person, but read their book.
right,
Find
right.
mentors find mentors in the area in which you want to change. I mean, for me, I have some of the best mentors in the life
Yeah,
insurance industry, some of the best underwriters, some of the best brokers, people that have been doing it for 40, 50 years. Why would I want to go and take advice from somebody
that's
who's
right.
just starting out? If you're just starting out, you want to find the people in whatever business it is that you're trying to change to. Find the
Yeah,
people that have done it, and have them mentor you.
yeah.
I've done that.
Tony calls it modeling, right? So find someone that's already really good
Nice.
at it. Don't give
Yeah.
yourself the brain damage of trying to figure it out. Instead, model someone. Just go with somebody, give them a percentage of the business or
And then,
whatever.
yes, and then act as if.
That's right.
Act as if you're you're already making that money.
That's right.
Just act as if.
That's
It's the
right.
manifestation. It's already happening.
Yeah.
I'm already on that. I already made
Yeah.
those commissions.
Actually, it's
Act
so
as if it
funny. So
happened.
it's so funny your story. So personal story. When I joined Plaid, I didn't have the money for Plaid at all, for Platinum Partnership. For those that may not know, Platinum Partnership is a community with Tony Robbins. It's a pretty pricey membership. It is absolutely worth every penny, but it's a pricey membership. And so at that time, I had just, come off, I was having a pretty good year. Or after I started Plaid, like halfway through, and I had this, we were coming out of a business master or something. And I was like, that's it. From now on, I'm only flying business. And I'm like, I'm making the commitment. I'm flying only business. And then now it's time for a trip to Amsterdam. And, I look up the flights and it's like $8,000 for, and I'm like, what? And because my psychology was still like, I can't do that. And I really shouldn't have done it at that time. But I'm like, no, I'm the kind of entrepreneur And when I fly business. And if I just do that, everything else will catch up. And for that whole year, that whole applied year, I flew everywhere business. It was nauseating the amount of money I spent on airfare. But a funny thing started to happen. The way that I saw myself and how much income I deserve or I'm meant for, because money's energy. Like the way that I saw myself started to shift. And all of a sudden, like I just started to make more money. And I'm not saying it was directly related to that one thing, but the as if for sure. We got some great feedback coming in.
Oh,
Manifestation,
absolutely.
spoken to existence. We got some great feedback coming in.
Yep. Yeah,
Oh, we
no,
got a
it's
question.
true.
Hang
And
on. We got a question.
oh,
We have a question from
okay.
Kate. What is the best way to ask for mentorship from someone who has already done what you want to do? So what's the best way to ask for mentorship? Okay, great question.
Well, that's a really great question. And definitely you want to be well thought out when you're asking. So I would say write a thoughtful email. And sometimes you have to get in through the assistant or whoever is managing that person's calendar. So always make that person your best friend.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, really take the time. Everybody wants to go right to the person. Like I'll use Tony Robbins as an example. Everybody wants to get to him, right? But really the people you want to get to are the people that are kind of right below him.
Right.
You want to make friends with those people
Right.
because those people are the ones that have access to the jewel, right? So
Right.
you really want to make friends with the assistant, and you want to send a well thought email or letter. Handwritten notes are still, I know it seems old school, but I have to tell you, people really appreciate that time and effort, especially people like, you know, in our age, in my age group, I should say, still appreciate that. So, you know, take the time to write a well thought out letter. And by the way, if they don't have time to be the mentor, this is what's so great about it. And this is why networking is so important, is that they will actually help you find the right person if they don't have the time.
That's right.
Now, all of a sudden you've got 10 other options. So maybe you're not getting the person that you want, but my God, for example, everybody wants my partner as a mentor. They all want him. And then sometimes he'll pass it to me. He'll go, Deborah, can you help this person? And, you know, like that, they would have never thought of me because, you know, people, when they say, oh my God, you do life insurance? Wow. Like, you know, there's not very many women when I go to my life insurance meetings in the room. It's like 20% women, 80% men. So that's what I'm saying. You never know who you're going to end up with. So, yeah, I would say well thought out email, well thought out letter. And you know what? I have no phone. So this is just me though. I have no call reluctance. I'll call anybody. I dialed for dollars for years to get to this place that I'm at now. And so if you have no call reluctance, pick up the phone, find out who the assistant is, call direct.
For sure.
And just say, look, I know this is random, but I'm looking for a mentor, and maybe this person doesn't have time that I want. But is there somebody in your office that could?
Yeah. And Kate, absolutely do not start with, hey, would you mentor me? That's like the worst thing to ask. It's like the worst question. What you want to start is just mentors want to be inspired. Yeah, mentors want to be inspired too. So like energize them, you know, like, hey, I've done blah, 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 blah. I'm stuck in this thing. You know, like give them like mentors are typically A-type problem solvers, outcome driven. Give them a problem to solve. They get excited about solving. And then the best thing in the world is if you go in, do the thing, and then you reach out back out to them and say, hey, here's the thing. I took your advice. I did the thing. Here's where I'm at now. Now, all of a sudden, you've got a mentor because they'll get excited about doing the work.
And you know what's really fun about this also is you may not get a mentor out of this process, but what you might get is some awesome jewels from this person. They might just give you a response, and in that response might be some amazing jewels. And you would have never gotten it if you hadn't taken the time to ask or tell your story. I find that sometimes I don't get what I'm going for, but I get something even better.
That's right.
So just keep putting the energy out. Keep putting the energy out.
Yeah. Tony talks about, or maybe it's not even Tony, maybe it's just an expression. You know, sometimes you come for what you want, but you actually get what you need. That happens to me at events all the time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
so look,
I want open to that.
No, I'm sorry. There's a
I was
delay.
just going
Sorry,
to
you
add
go.
one more
You go.
thing. If you're open to that energy, right? That's the other
Yeah.
thing. You have to
Yeah.
be open to it, because sometimes people are so driven on what they want, and then when they don't get it, they get stuck. Instead of being open to what are the other possibilities?
Yeah.
What are they? I
Exactly.
mean, just being aware that there's other possibilities
That's right.
always.
That's
And
right.
that's kind of cool when you start to get curious, right?
That's right. That's totally right. And Kate, act as if, as we just talked about. So just act as if. Don't call asking about a mentor. Just be like, hey, I've got. Act as if you're already in the mentorship. Here's what we got. Here's how far I am. Here's the next thing. I don't really know what to do here. Keith Cunningham has a process where give me your question, give me your 3 answers, tell me which answer you like best, and when I have all that, I'll give you my feedback. So that's really cool too. But if you give someone, you get a mentor excited. There people mentors, anyone that's accomplished, usually love to pay it forward. And when you get excited about somebody, like you want to jump in. It's like energy. So we're getting on the hour.
See,
So
that's
I
why
want
you
to.
and I are in it. That's why I was just gonna add one more thing when you said I took everything you had to join platinums. Well, platinums I could do, right? But then when I joined the Lions,
Yeah,
I
right.
was like, what should I do? What should I
Seriously,
do? But
seriously.
and then I have to tell you, I almost put here's an example of fear. I almost put my Lion year on hold. I sent an
Mm,
email because I got freaked out. I'm like, oh my God, it's COVID, and and this was a lot of money,
yeah,
and I was like
yeah.
in my head. And I thank God I had a quick rebound, because the next day I woke up and I texted Megan and I said, you know what? F that.
That's right.
I'm a
That's right.
lion.
That's right.
I'm going to step up. And what the heck? Why am I like, no, that's not
Yeah,
why I joined this. If I do that, then I'm not even learning the lessons,
that's right. That's right.
I'm
That's right.
right. Like, wow. And I just had that moment of clarity. And that's just being really present.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
that's the other thing. Just get really present.
Yeah, yeah. So look, you have oh my God, I could literally talk to you for the next 6 hours, but I know we're gonna have to let people go. Uh, so let me do a little bit of rapid fire. So in
Okay.
all of your years of experience, all of your years of wisdom, as you say, you failed so much, which is the only reason you succeeded is because success looks like this. Anyone that's successful knows it doesn't look like a
Absolutely.
straight arrow. Do you have any nuggets of wisdom? Keith Cunningham likes to call them, logged lessons learned or a dumb tax. Is there anything you could share? Any, if you could go back, things you would have done different, or anything, any
Yeah,
big learns?
absolutely. Absolutely. I mentioned it earlier, and I'll say it again because this is truly now my go-to and what I find most important.
Mm,
Don't go into anything, whether it's a personal relationship, a business relationship, a job, going to get. Go
mm,
to add
yeah,
value. And that was a big lesson for me. Big lesson
yeah,
for me, because my mindset for so many years was, what can I get? What can I get? What can I accomplish? And if you just go to add value and give, everything will come back tenfold.
yeah,
My second go-to, and I mentioned it earlier, and it's very important, is to write everything down. Even if you think it's not important, write it down. Those are my two. And then be present, and try to look at all possibilities. Stay
yeah,
curious.
yeah. That's really cool. Man, I so agree with that. And just to echo that as an and to all that, it's like, man, any decision from fear is the wrong decision. Any decision from fear is the wrong
There's,
decision. It's like the second you believe, I mean, there's a lot of people on here that are, commenting, manifest this and that, whatever. And like, whatever it is that you want to do, it's been done before, probably. I mean, unless you're looking for something, but even then, like belief systems plays such a huge value. And if you're entering the thing and you don't believe in it, then it's like you may as well not even start. It's either like, that's it, like burn the boats, it's already happened,
yes,
et cetera,
yes.
or don't even bother starting,
Act as
right?
if,
Like,
yes, act as if you're already successful.
right.
Maybe you don't have $5 in your pocket, but
That's
act as
right.
if you do, right?
That's right. That's right.
And it will come. It will come.
Yeah.
Believe me, I had zero money,
Yeah.
zero. I didn't have $1 to my name.
Yeah.
Had to go work on that boat. Had to reinvent myself a bunch of times. I mean, I was like on my knees going, what am I going to do?
Right.
And I have 3 kids to support. And you start getting overwhelmed, but all of a sudden when you start acting as if, it just all comes. It all works out. People see you differently.
Yeah.
If you're acting in a way that doesn't show your true potential, then people are going to see the way you portray yourself,
That's right.
right? So
That's right.
if you're portraying yourself as a scared, living in fear human being,
That's right.
you know, that energy is going to push people away. But if you're acting
Yeah.
as if, hey, I just sold, you know, $30 million of life insurance, there you have it.
Yeah.
You know,
And the truth
people
is,
see
like,
that.
you know, the only difference between, you know, fear and imagination is intent. When we imagine the future, like with intent, it tends to be exciting. And we let the mind imagine force, it tends to be fear. And so, like, if you're just on purpose about life or about the move you're trying to make, chances are, like, the fear might
Yeah.
pop up, but if you just manage it, you know, because essentially the thing didn't happen yet. I just finished watching The Last Dance. It's the Michael Jordan documentary on Netflix. I mean, he's my like one of my heroes. And he said a line on there that I thought it was so profound. They asked him about pressure. You know, how did you deal with pressure? And he said, you know, I never really understood why some players were afraid of taking that last shot. He goes, why would I be worried about a shot I haven't taken yet? Like, it's so simple, right? But it's like, why would I worry about a shot I haven't taken yet? And for everybody else, if they worry about
Yeah.
that shot, they're already dead. You know, they're for sure already going to miss. But this guy just went to the line like,
Right.
why would I miss? Like, why would I miss? I know how to do it. I've practiced enough. Why would I miss? And so this idea of, like, if you put in the work, there's an inherent confidence that comes from that. And it, you know, success is inevitable if you just follow the right path. You just got to find that path, and that's through a mentor or modeling someone or whatever.
Yeah.
And mindset
And then
is,
I would also add to that, you know, we sometimes in our world, we all focus on the big successes.
yeah.
And I would say take a look also, this might be added to my to-do list because this is something I practice every day, is focus on the little successes.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, because the little successes are really the really important ones. They're the baseline. You know, yes, okay, so you made $1 million, but all those little successes that got you to that $1 million, that's where the stuff is, right? That's where the good stuff is. So yeah, every day look and write it down. What were my successes today?
That's right.
I got out of bed.
That's right.
Right? That's a big one for me. Every morning I wake up, I go, hey, I woke up. Yay. You know?
Actually, Julie and I just started
success.
one. We got like a big whiteboard, and I'm trying to get her into systems with triggers and whatever. But we made a deal that every morning when we wake up, we would write on this board the 3 things that we're grateful for. So I write, she writes, whatever. And now every day when I wake up, now we've got the system of, like, every morning see each other's gratitude or whatnot. One final question. We kind of covered some of this already. Is habits and rituals. So writing one down obviously is a big one. But someone as wildly successful as you doesn't get there by accident. There's clearly, you know, patterns or rituals or habits or something that you're doing consistently, whether it be a morning routine, whether it be, you know, how you react under stress or pressure. Like, there's clear, like, if we were to, like, open your brain and dissect you, we'd find certain rituals and habits. I'm wondering if you care to share any of the ones you find really powerful.
Yeah, you have to have it. You have to have. I love structure. I
Mm.
thrive in a structured environment. I think that goes back to my, you know, growing up, I was a figure skater, and so I had tons of structure growing up, and so I thrive in that environment. Some people can have chaos and thrive in that as well, but for me, my rituals are: I wake up between 5:30, 6 a.m. every day. I start my day with, I do this eye treatment, and then I put on my meditation. And then I have my hot water with lemon or my coffee, and then I go through emails, and I just organize my day by emails that came in at the end of the previous day, organize, and then make calls. I have a Zoom meeting every morning at 7:30. From that Zoom meeting, usually goes into more business meetings. I practice yoga.
Mm.
That is something I have to do no less than 4 to 5 times a week, because that is super centering for me, and it's kind of that whole workout, mind, body, soul. Yoga, walking, and then in the afternoon, I try, now that I'm kind of in a point in my life where in the afternoon now, that's kind of my time where I can do it however I want. I can spend it with friends or family or whatever. I don't have to work as much. I still work a lot, but when I say my time, I'm working on a personal brand right now that has to do with everything that we spoke about today. It also has to do with health and vitality, because I'm going to be 37 this year, and you know, you can't have anything as you get older if you don't have your health.
That's right.
And that to me is so important. I don't care if you're the most educated, if you're the most successful, if you don't have your health and your vitality, everything else is going to just drain you. So I'm doing a whole, I'm kind of doing a 55 and over club.
Oh, very cool.
To talk about that. Yeah. So yeah, it's, those are the rituals I think that are an everyday practice. And then, you know, when I travel, sometimes I get a little mixed up a little bit, but you know,
yeah, very cool.
Definitely have, you know, your go-tos, what works for you.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, structure is paramount. I mean, I too, like I'm a hardcore believer in morning routine, because when we wake up, we're not ourselves. There's nobody that doesn't wake up tired or thinking about the previous day. You know, Joe Dispenza talks about, I mean, Joe Dispenza is brilliant. If anybody wants a good mentor just from his work, is Joe. Yeah, he's great. Yeah. He's great. And so he talks about how when we wake up, first thing we think about is yesterday. And so if we're feeling yesterday's emotions, but then inherently, because that's the constant pattern, we're always living in the past. Unless you can break the pattern, you're always living in the past. And so for me, it's like, wake up. There's got to be physical activity. I do push-ups right away. I do my Tony Robbins incantations on my rebounder. And then it's some kind of content, because if you're not consuming the content you want, you're going to find it somewhere on social media, whatever. So it's usually a David Goggins, it's a Jocko, it's a Tony, it's a Will Smith, whatever I'm feeling like. Sometimes I'm feeling like motivation. Sometimes I'm feeling like resolve. Yeah. Sometimes I'm feeling zen. It might be Joe. But then all of a sudden, it almost feels like I have my armor on now. Now I'm me. Now whatever comes at me, it can't penetrate anymore, because I'm in my peak state, you know, as we like to say, or whatnot. And that makes the rest of the day within my control. And then especially right after that, I've got about 90 minutes of, you know, structure time, like what's going to happen in the day. Sounds like, again, very similar, but for everybody out there, like you getting up early. I mean, I've interviewed so many successful people, you know, millionaires and billionaires, and then also people that are, you know, their success isn't in money. It's in relationships, it's in health and fitness, whatever. And it's like, wake up early, have a morning routine is a constant. Like, it's not everybody. I can't say it's everybody, but man, it's like 90%. Like, get up early, somewhere between 5 and 6. Don't go right to work. Spend the first 10, 15, 20 minutes, an hour, whatever it is for you, doing your routine, you know, getting yourself to where you need to be to handle the day. And then just have a structure, have a calendar, have a journal, have a whatever. Because when life's with intent, success is going to be easier to find. Whereas if you're always reacting, you can be so busy and like merry-go-round busy, not actually progress busy.
Well, that goes back to the RPM. You know,
that's right.
Writing everything down.
That's right.
And by the way, when you schedule it, what does Tony say? It becomes real.
That's right.
So if it's not scheduled, usually, for me, if it's not scheduled, it's usually not going to happen. But if I see it in my book, I'm like, oh, I have a call, or oh, I have yoga, or, you know, you have to write it down. And I just learned something new with Scott Harris, where he's like, now go back when you look at your book. Another thing to do is to fill in the gaps.
Fill in the gaps.
So let's say you have an hour between a Zoom call and yoga. You can fill that in. What are you gonna put in that gap? You know, that might be a time to put on a podcast. That might be a time to open a book and read a chapter. That might be a time to just sit and meditate. But he goes, keep filling the gaps. You know, don't have stagnant time. And it's really cool. You know, I mean, we're so blessed because we get introduced to so many other outlets. You know, and so one of the ones that I've just gotten into is I've been doing every afternoon in my time is the Jaya.
Oh, Jaya? Yeah, she's great. Of course, she's great.
Amazing. Like, I didn't, you know, it's like you get to experience all these different things. But I would say, keep reaching out for, you know, it's great to have a Tony Robbins or a Wayne Dyer or a Deepak Chopra, but there's so many more, like you said, Joe Dispenza, and, you know, there's so many people that you can look at their work, and even if you just do an hour a day, it just kind of brings you up to a level.
Very cool. Kavan Massenberg just way over, which is fine. Kavan Massenberg just came on. Actually, talk about somebody with intent. This guy, Kavan, what a story he has. Actually, Kavan, if you want to come on the show, hit me up, man. I'd love to tell your story.
Hey, by the way, that's somebody I mentor.
There you go.
Right there.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
I brought him into the whole Van Jones world. I got Van Jones now as
nice.
on his board. Yeah,
Nice.
no, I
I mean,
took him under my wing. I was like,
talk about somebody that started, you know, with nothing, and what an enterprise he's building. I mean, it's so inspiring.
that's
So
why
inspiring.
that's why I was attracted. That's why I was attracted to him. I went up to him. I think it was he'll remind me, but it was over a year ago, and he was at an event in LA. And I went
Mm-hmm.
up to him and I said, "What's your story?" Because he was with us at Ideal Lab. I said, "I want to know your story," and he told me. And I said, "I have some people I can introduce you to." I kind of took him under my wing. So
Mm.
there's a perfect example of somebody like him being at an event, not knowing really anybody, and
Yep.
I went right over to him because
Yep.
I saw
Yep.
I saw this young kid, like,
Yep.
what are you doing here with all these people invested in Ideal, you know?
There you go.
And there he was.
And you know
So
what? He adds a
that's what
massive
I'm
amount
saying.
of.
He was acting, and he would say this right now if he's still on. He would say he was acting as if
That's right.
he was part of the
That's right.
group.
That's right.
Yeah,
And it,
pretty cool.
and yeah, when you add a ton of value, there's an energy, and the value could be energy, it could be state, whatever. But you just become magnetic.
Absolutely.
And so look, he didn't even ask you, but you went over to help him because of, gosh,
Yeah,
Deb,
I was curious. Well, see, I say don't ever get to a place where you get all this success and then you stop being curious.
that's right.
Because I saw him and I got curious. I was like, what is
That's
this
right.
kid doing here?
That's right.
So I want to know what's going on with him. And then look, you're wearing his shirt. He's got this beautiful company that he's starting. And I have so much optimism and faith that he's
Yeah.
just going to
Yeah,
kill
for
it.
sure. For
Yeah.
sure. Any
Yeah.
final thoughts? We went way over, and I don't care. I'm not sorry. Any final thoughts you want to share with anyone?
Turn off the news. That would be my final thought. Turn off the effing news. Turn it off. I mean, I watch people on Facebook and just living in so much fear and putting on Facebook, call this number if you see somebody not wearing a mask. And I mean, everybody is living in this crazy news-induced fear. Turn the frickin' news off and have your own thoughts. Step up
Yep.
and be a leader. Because
That's right.
you know what? This is going to pass. And by the way, we're crazy if we think we're not going to get it. I've had the virus. I had it back in December. I mean, I think at some point everybody's going to get it. And
Yeah.
to be, the news just puts it, oh my God,
Yeah.
now the deaths are rising again. I mean, they just turn it off.
Yeah.
Stay present.
Yeah.
It's so
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah. Those are my final thoughts.
I love it. Debbie, thank you so much for your time. I know you're really busy doing your 700 million things. I feel a little bit left out. Maybe I could be like an honorary member of the 55 and over club.
Yes.
Yes.
But no, seriously, thank you. I'm so honored that you even asked me, and thank you for having me here. I know you mainly talk about real estate, but we went off on some tangents, but that's
Good.
okay.
Good. Work's supposed to be fun. We don't live to work, right? We work
Absolutely.
to live. So thank you, Debbie. Have a
That's it.
wonderful, wonderful weekend. Enjoy the weather. Thanks, guys. See you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.